because clean food shouldn't keep secrets. Welcome to Scavenge-ology, the podcast where we're diving into the truth behind what you're eating. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Scavenge-ology podcast. This is your host, Elena. I'm very excited for our episode today. I have two guests with us. I have Skyler and Callie. They are two interns at PrimalRock Grocery House. I'm so excited to have them joining us. Before we get started, just want to give everyone a little reminder. Don't forget to download and rate and review our podcast. It really makes a huge difference in our turnout for our episodes, and we would love to connect with you over on Instagram at PrimalRock. So please stay tuned for all that is to come. So welcome, Skyler and Callie. Thanks for being on the podcast.
It's good to be here.
Awesome. So I want to just give you guys a few minutes to introduce yourself. I don't know who wants to go first, but just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you go to school, your major, your interests, and kind of how you found your way to being a part of PrimalRock.
All right, I guess I'll go first. I'm Skyler, and I go to Georgia College in Milledgeville, Georgia. I'm a management major, and I'm graduating this May, so soon. I'm excited for that. And they opened up the Food Service Partners facility in Milledgeville, and my parents' friend he owns a couple farms and stuff. So he does some business with Justin, and he was telling me about this new facility and what they're doing, and it just sounded interesting to me. So I came and checked it out, and I liked everybody here. Just liked the feel, the culture, everything. So I just decided to jump on. I started working here, and I've loved it since.
I'm Callie. I go to Georgia College too with Skyler. And I'm a management major with a concentration in logistics and HR. Some of my interests, I like to bake. I really like cooking and stuff. So I've always been interested in the food industry. And I've wanted to open a bakery or a cafe or something once I graduate. And so how I got started with PrimalRock, Skyler actually got Justin to come speak in one of our classes. And I had talked to Justin after about coming to speak to my entrepreneurship club. And from there, I had his number. And there was actually a family who was having issues and had got evicted from their house. So I had texted him to see if he could help out or if he knew any connections to help them. And he said that he really liked the person that I was and offered me this job. So I just started last month, and I really love it.
That's awesome. It's so cool to hear your different majors and just your interests and how you guys got connected. It's definitely a great opportunity to work somewhere, like a brand with PrimalRock, and just all of the new opportunities and just the new mindset that it brings about food and just about everything in between. And I know, Callie, you said logistics. It's also a great business to be in, to get a little more experience with that as well.
Yeah, it's been cool working with Demario too, and just seeing everything that goes into just getting a product out and stuff.
That's awesome. So now that we've kind of given introductions and talked a little bit more of how you got started with PrimalRock, here at Scavenge-ology, the whole purpose of this podcast is what we say to uncover the truth behind what you're eating. And so while we are indirectly related to PrimalRock, we also research a lot of other topics and brands and things like that. So I kind of want to jump into a new topic of conversation with you guys of just what's been the most surprising thing you've learned after working with PrimalRock. So I personally went to school at Georgia College. I graduated a few years ago, studied marketing there. So now I work in marketing, and I actually get to touch a little bit of the food industry too through that. And I was so surprised when I started doing more research into food and working with PrimalRock and with Food Service Partners, just all the information that there is about clean eating and what's really, a healthy food versus what's not, right? So we think healthy like salad and fruits and vegetables and kind of a generic view of healthy, but really it means so much more. So I love diving into the PrimalRock website, to the standards and all the different food standards, and looking at, all the chemicals, all the additives, all the fake colorings, and all these things that are in our food, even the foods we view as healthy, like yogurts and things like that we don't even think about. So for me, getting started with PrimalRock, it was just so eye-opening of, what clean food really is. So I know on our website, we have a few different pages of information about just clean eating and ingredients. And so what's just been the most surprising thing that you have learned in your time with PrimalRock?
I guess I'll start with this one. So I feel like a lot of what you just said is pretty spot on with me too. And then I've had a bunch of conversations with Justin, and we've just talked about, as you were saying, like different aspects other than just fruits, vegetables, stuff like that. Like we've talked about how caffeine stimulates the mind and metabolism and all this stuff. And there's just so many different groups of food and different, I guess, chemicals, but good chemicals that go into it. And it's just been super interesting learning about all the things that we eat, all the things I don't eat that I should be eating, that I would have no idea if I wasn't here talking with people, researching, seeing PrimalRock standards.
Yeah, I think another thing also we don't think about is like we could be eating clean, like grilled chicken or something, but we don't think about how those animals were like treated or what kind of chemicals and like food that they were eating and how that can affect us too.
That's awesome. Yeah. And about the animal treatment, it's so interesting to me. I started eating healthier probably around my sophomore, junior year of college, but I really didn't know what I was doing. I would buy some things organic, and then I would see packaging that said like natural or all natural or humanely raised. And I really had no idea what it meant. I just believed it. But now working in marketing within the food industry has really been eye-opening, to realize the word natural, anyone can really put that on a product. It's not certified anything. It doesn't really mean it's certified organic or non-GMO. It doesn't mean anything, right? So I remember a time I actually bought, I think it was bacon, and I put it on my Instagram like, oh, love this healthy brand of bacon, like blah, blah, blah. It says all natural and no hormones. And then this girl who was like a vet or some sort of in the animal industry, she was like, just so you know, you can't add antibiotics to any animal. So just because they're saying that, like, it doesn't really mean anything. And I was like, what? Like, this makes no sense. Why am I spending so much more money on, food that's just packaged to sound healthier and better for you and better for the animals when it's really not? So definitely with what you said, Callie, working with PrimalRock, thinking about, just the ultimate food chain and the animals within it is so interesting to me, because before, working here, obviously you want to shop with brands that raise animals humanely and things like that, but you never really are exposed to what that really means and what that really looks like. So that's definitely been interesting for me too.
Yeah. So a crazy thing I actually just learned is that, similar to what you were saying, that the cage-free term from chickens, I guess, with the chicken eggs and cage-free chickens, they can be in a cage as long as they have, it's like a certain amount of space to get out, and even that outside area can be fenced in. So most of the chickens never make it out of the cage, but since they have that, they can put cage-free. So there's just so many things like that. You just really have to be careful of what you read and what they can put on there.
Definitely.
I know when I was in high school, we watched Food Inc. and like seeing how all the animals are raised and like how the industry, basically like if the farmers didn't agree to their terms and do the things that they wanted, like making an all dark room that the chickens had to stay in, like they would pretty much go bankrupt.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I watched that documentary too. And what you were saying, Skyler, about just all the different types of environments that you can have for the animals, that's really interesting, because you don't think about that. And a lot of times people just believe the marketing that they read on a package, and you just never know, if you have to do research, right? You have to be, looking into this food and really actively looking into what you're putting into your body, because just because it's on a label doesn't mean that it's the best for you. And I think that's one of my favorite things of, brands like PrimalRock and all the brands that we work with and have on our website is these are actually clean brands that we go through and we investigate all of the ways the food is produced. We investigate all the ingredients, and we really, really make sure it's clean. And just having a brand like that you can trust, that really does, all the tough and hard research and work for you is really, really awesome. So that's one of my favorite things of being a part of this brand. And it's just been eye-opening for me and how I want to feed myself and feed my family, and just how I shop. All of it has changed. But Has working in the food industry, not necessarily just with PrimalRock, I don't know if you guys have worked with any other food type companies or brands before, but how has it changed your life? Has it changed, what you want to do with your career, maybe your major, or even just like me, paying more attention to how you shop and how you eat? How has it changed things for you?
For me, honestly, it's crazy seeing how much goes into each product, like how much communication and like they have to follow all like FDA regulations and all this like crazy stuff that I never thought about. Um, and job wise, I think like this internship is really helping me to tie the things I learned from class into like a real life application and how it really works, which that's been really cool for me.
And then for me, I guess I've definitely been on the lookout more when I shop, trying to avoid just looking for natural or cage-free or something like that, and really getting healthy and good stuff for me. And then I guess it's just motivated me also just to start working out again, getting up early, just taking better care of myself after seeing some of the stuff that we put into our bodies with the food today and all the chemicals.
And I think being a college student, it's hard to eat clean because kind of on a budget. And so a lot of times I'm just like, I just want the cheapest thing, but that's not really the best thing for me. While when I go home, my parents are pretty good about like eating clean.
That's awesome. I think too, for me, I even think about it now when I go to restaurants and things like that. And obviously you can have a little bit more of, what ingredients you buy and what ingredients go in your food when you're at home. But then you go to a restaurant and you're like, wait, I haven't thought about this in terms of how healthy really is this food. Like I know I love Chick-fil-A, like it's one of my favorites. And the other day I was going through the drive-thru and I was like, I've never really researched what's in Chick-fil-A. Like I know it's like considered upscale fast food, but I'm like, it's better than McDonald's, but how healthy really is it? So even for me going out to eat now, I kind of think of things a little bit more. I'm like, I wonder where these ingredients are from and if this is undoing all the hard work that I've put in. So I'm sure like if you guys eat at the dining hall there, I remember that food, it was not the best. I think I only did it like the meal plan my freshman year, but I think I went like a couple times randomly just throughout college. And some of the food's good, but I do wonder now that I know so much more, I'm like, where was that really coming from?
Oh yeah, some of that food is really good. Some of that food is questionable. There was an outbreak of something in my
It was your
freshman
freshman year?
Yeah,
It was
E. coli. No,
maybe.
I don't know if I could say that on the podcast, but
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, we're not registered with the school, so you can say it. Maybe the lunch people will come after you. But yeah, that's crazy. I remember a few people had gotten like food poisoning when I was there, but they could never really connect it to like what the food was that was there that people were eating. So we had like, I just remember there was a little bit of time where I think it was like all prepackaged stuff and they had to like clean everything and it was just like, oh, a mess.
Yeah, my roommates got sick. They said it was the peanut butter and jelly at like the in the library at that Starbucks.
which is crazy because that's such a simple, just peanut butter and jelly on some bread.
Yeah, that was the connection they made.
But
Oh my
I mean,
God.
it's not just here. That's like everywhere. That's every school, every place that has food, like
Yeah.
cut corners. It's cheap stuff that happens way more often than it should.
Well, even, with like salad recalls and meat recalls, that happens in grocery stores too. Even, like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and all these places that sell what's supposed to be organic or really good food, it can still happen. And that's what's so crazy, with food. And I think sometimes with organic food, this is kind of off the topic, but with organic food or like certified foods, they don't have all of those preservatives and pesticides and things. So sometimes those foods, may even be more prone to having some sort of outbreak or some sort of whatever it might be, which is also really interesting just about food in general. So, with all of this being said and all this talk about food, I would love to hear a little more of what your favorite thing to do as an intern is, whether it is related to food or just related to the business side of things over at PrimalRock. What are the tasks that you complete, whether it's a day-to-day basis or whenever you get to do those things? What are both of your favorite things to do as an intern?
This might be a little weird, but I really like organizing things because there's so much going on. A lot of the tasks that I have are just like getting things in order so they make sense and then so that we're efficient. And a lot of times the higher up people, they don't have time to do all these things. So I've been putting recipes in and like adjusting them, making sure they're all right. And like me and Skyler are making procedures right now. I've made like safety books, but I really enjoy organizing things.
That's awesome.
Yeah. For mine, I would say my favorite thing is we both started an Instagram account for kind of our personal selves, but also for PrimalRock. And I like managing that mainly because we get to go around and we get to find cool spots in the facility to take pictures to post. And then I guess with that, we just get to walk around and we get to talk to people, find out what they're doing. And then with our comments, with our captions on the pictures, I'll look up stuff about PrimalRock. I'll talk to people in the company and learn about them. I'll highlight people. So it's just like a little bit of everything that's going on. And I get to manage it and post it out so other people outside of the company all over the world can see what we're doing here.
Yeah, we got to go. We went the other day and we went on the roof. It was really cool. And just like getting to know people in the business is really cool too. Seeing what they do and getting to share with everyone else, like how important their role is.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So I'm sure you're getting, with being an intern, you get to do so many different things, which is really cool because once you have, a position in a company, you're kind of, in that niche of what you want to do. But I remember when I was an intern, I did not intern here. I interned actually in New York with a PR company. But I got to learn so much about so many different things just because, you're an intern and they're like, hey, we need you to do this. We need you to do this. And I was like, this is so awesome because in all the movies, you just see people, be like, hey, bring me a coffee. But really, when I was an intern, I got to do so many different things. So that was probably my favorite part as an intern. And I'd imagine at a company like this, you guys get to experience so many things. And you're also around so many great entrepreneurs and leaders. I mean, PrimalRock was started by an entrepreneur. So you have the opportunity to just be around so many different people to learn so much from. And I know you guys had said at one point you want to own your own businesses when you graduate and find your way. So you're steps ahead of what I knew I wanted to do when I graduated. I was like, I have no idea. But that's awesome. So is there anyone who's just been really influential for you in your time there, or a couple of people, it doesn't have to be just one, that you've learned from?
I think like working with Chef Dave, since I've been working with him a lot, he really cares that we're learning something. Like he's checking up to make sure like we understand things or we're learning things. And Justin too, I think every day that he's here, he's always like, did you learn something today? If not, like, I want you to learn something. Like, let's go find something for you.
Oh God, yeah. Justin for sure. First and foremost, just last night he called me on the phone and first of all, he told me he was doing a good job, which is just a little confidence booster. But then he talked to me for like 10 minutes about business and people and personal growth and all this. And like, he'll just randomly reach out to me and talk to me whatever's on his mind if he wants me to know it. So that's really cool. He's an awesome person. And then all of management here is, I don't know if it's the people we hire or that they've instilled that culture in them, but everyone's like that now. They'll teach you stuff. If we're doing something, they'll explain why we're doing it, all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun coming to work and everyone's excited to see you.
That's definitely a good feeling. Anytime I get to go down to Georgia and be there within the facility, everyone is, really excited and upbeat there. And there's always something going on. It's not like you go sit in there and you're bored. Like, I feel like there's always a million things happening that you can kind of check out and look in on. So that's definitely a really, really good place to intern. How many days a week do you guys get to be there? Kind of what's the setup like?
Well, I am here 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So like I said earlier, I'm graduating soon. So I unfortunately have to focus a lot of my efforts on school, which is what I have to do now. But I pretty much spend all my free time here. So whenever I get the chance, I'll come in or do some work on my computer or something.
And I'm also here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I don't have class on Friday, so I get to be here for the whole day. And I absolutely love it. Like, every day I come home from work, my roommates are like, how'd it go? I'm like, it was great. I have all these stories to tell them. Like, I've never had a job that I'm, like, so, like, eager to tell everyone about.
That's so awesome. So, Callie, what year do you graduate? Do you graduate this year as well?
I'll graduate this year, but I graduate in December because I'm graduating a semester early.
Okay, awesome. So do you guys think after graduation, I don't assume you're from Milledgeville or staying there, but do you think you'll still try to be a part of PrimalRock in some capacity, even if it's virtually?
I hope so. I'm not sure what I'd do, but I really do hope so, because like I said, I love everybody here and the culture, and everybody's here to teach me and show me stuff. So I hope I can stay with that.
I also would like to work for the company after, not necessarily in Milledgeville, because I'm from like north of Atlanta, so very different lifestyle here.
Yes.
So I would definitely want to work like remote, or maybe work in another location, have like a new experience.
Definitely. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys being on this podcast and for everything that you do within the brand and the company. You guys are just awesome. It was so cool to get to talk with you a little bit more on a call, sort of virtually, than just on text or on email. So it was really cool just to get to know a little bit more about you guys. And I'm so excited for all that you're going to do when you both graduate and as you continue at the company. And if you end up being a part of the PrimalRock team, it would be so fun to continue to work with you guys. It's just been so great speaking with you, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. It was fun.
Thanks, guys.